Hello, and welcome to another episode of A Ghost in the Magazine. I'm Steph.
And
I'm
I'm
Mel.
Elle. Sorry.
I'm Mel. That's Elle.
And I'm Elle.
Jinxies. I'm sorry, I need a second to recover from that. And in this week's movie, we're covering I Know What You Did Last Summer. We're like halfway through my birthday month, and usually I've got like a plan in mind, themed month like my friends. And this year I'm turning 33, and so I said, fuck it. So we're just winging it. But this movie, it's part of a starter pack, if you will. I've said it on this podcast before. There's like a trifecta, 90s slasher trifecta for me, and it's Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer, and Urban Legend. Which
we need to cover that.
Okay, yeah.
It's so good. I feel like Urban Legend is underrated. I feel like nobody ever talks about it. And it's so good. You both have seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I Know What You Did Last Summer. Okay, I'm gonna be really, really honest. I just said what I said. However, it's been a long time since I watched this movie, and they're so stupid.
Yeah.
True.
I just freshly watched it, and they're stupid.
So like from the beginning. So also in high school, I was a fucking nerd. I was never the type of teenager who would have gotten into this situation in the first place. First mistake, it's the end of the school year, it's 4th of July. They're getting frisky on the beach. No sand in the hoo-ha. What a sensory nightmare. There's nothing, there's no man or woman. Well, there's no man on this earth who could get me to do that in the sand. I know that's
what I like most poignant about that scene was that the kind of consent exchange was about 2 seconds long. You know, he looks at her tits, she takes off her overshirt, and he goes, "You sure?" And that's it. That is it. That's the whole conversation. And then yeah, sand in the hua. So I just was like, the 90s, but
I had a similar thought because if he says you sure, feels like a first time situation to me.
nobody wants that. Just, a service announcement. Nobody wants it.
PSA. Okay. So, it's also a weird combination of friends. You got like the poor one, Freddie Prinze Jr. He makes it very clear through the entire movie. I'm not like you guys. I'm poor.
Like, I was the trailer trash one, but I tried to hide it. Like, you don't fucking go out and broadcast that. Like, I don't know. I got picked on for it. I'm not gonna be saying that all the time. I'm gonna be like, yeah, no, totally. I'm used to hanging out, driving my daddy's car and like being a dipshit. That's entirely what I do all the time.
He was also a guy, so I feel like dudes.
Every fucking character is so histrionic in this thing. I'm sorry. But like just the reactions and like I get that they're kids, but they're the stupidest fucking kids and they're so dramatic. They're overblown.
Yeah.
Nobody's that dramatic.
Unless they're never mind. I'm not gonna finish that statement. But yes, it's very dramatic and like super not realistic. So the poor one, and then like both the girls are like hot. He says they're both rich. Ryan Phillippe, I can't remember what the fuck his name is in this movie. Barry. It's oh god, it's the worst name. Barry doesn't scream hot to me, but I feel like he's like the richest one, and he's also like that. Yeah. So Barry's wasted and they don't let him drive the car. So Ray's driving the car. And so this whole situation where they hit this man with their car, genuinely, I mean, obviously, spoiler alert, he wasn't fucking dead, so like they should have just called the fucking cops. Like the screaming match that ensued, well, Barry was screaming.
It
Uh,
was ridiculous. Oh
I
my
think it's
gosh.
realistic to have teenagers cover up like a crime that's not really a crime out of fear of repercussions. But yeah, the steps in that process were a little dramatic. Why didn't they just roll him down the hill into the water? Why did they like transport him to another water spot to
right,
put him
just
in the water?
roll him a little bit. I guess I don't know. I don't know. For me, I don't know. I'm a grown up though. I can't. I can't even think with my teenager brain. I wasn't even allowed to drive a car until I was like 18. Nobody would teach me how to drive, so I just can't fathom. Oh, they're all white. Respectfully, they're all fucking white, you know.
Yep.
And if his dad is that rich, sure he'll get grounded or whatever, but his dad can fix it.
No, but they're gonna fry no matter who takes the fall.
I guess, like
When he said that, I like almost puked, just like out of sheer reaction to it. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Fry? Fry, brother? Like, really?
I don't know.
Coming from a rich asshole who's never faced any consequence in his entire life. And that's the overblown shit that he comes up with. Like, really?
Yeah, I would think he would lean the other way. Like, this is not a big fucking deal. This is not a big
Right.
deal. My dad will fix it. Starts making it rain on the blood spatters. You know, like this is fine. It's not a big deal. But then of course they have to add that the guy Leonard from Big Bang Theory, who has a crush on Julie, Julia, Julie. Okay,
Julie, yeah.
that he stops by. It's all like laying a little intricate, you know, map for when, you know, they all come back together a year later. It's ridiculous. It's the most ridiculous shit I've ever seen in my life. But Julie obviously needs therapy. She's the only one who gets out though. She's the only one who like leaves and stays gone. I also want to point out that first of all, love that Sarah Michelle Gellar and Freddie Prinze Jr. in this movie and that they're still together to this day. They're my favorite Hollywood couple. Oh my god. Yeah, that makes my heart so happy. But also Sarah Michelle Gellar, okay. I know that Julie's like the main squeeze of this movie or whatever, but Helen Shivers is the scream queen of this movie for me. Like, with a name like Helen Shivers, I don't even know Julie's last name. I didn't even know if she was Julie or Julia. Just want to point that out there.
Yeah, Helen had some great screams. Sarah Michelle Gellar had some great screams. But I will say that Jennifer Love's little short screams, high pitched shrill screams, like gave me real anxiety. So I was like, I think maybe that's working too. I don't know.
Her thing that gave me anxiety was her like her like she's always stressed out and like running away. That gives me anxiety. I'm like, chill, girl. We're gonna figure this out together.
Also, her feminism was like a farce for like most of the movie, you know. In the beginning, she's like, guys, chill with the sexist comments. And they're like, oh, Julie, you know, just, I was like, wow, okay. So this is the very, very, very start of some of these conversations. Throwback.
Indeed. Indeed. And so then you see her like, you know, like that. And she was also super bubbly. And then, of course, this incident gives her all this trauma. She goes away to school. She is doing bad at school. She doesn't call her mom, and her mom's really sad about it and thinks she's on drugs. And like, they just don't put any makeup on this girl. And they're like, there you go. You're, you're fucked. So then in that year, everything has changed. Well, not really. Ray's working on a boat because his dad worked on boats, and she immediately was like, I thought you didn't know your dad, planting the seed of mistrust that the boyfriend was the one this whole time. I think everything that happened up until that point was pointing towards Ray did it. And they all start getting mysterious notes. I just want to say it's really hard for me to take this movie seriously because all I can think of is Scary Movie in all of these scenes.
You know, if I were getting the notes and I knew what I did and they knew what they did, I mean, I just like get out of Dodge or something. I don't know why they go around town shaking everybody's collar. Was it you, damn it? You know, like just, I don't know, call your losses, I guess.
But as Julie said, she already tried running away and that didn't do anything. So they have to face it. She gets real like crazy, like we have to catch this guy. But like, and then what are
She
you
tried.
gonna do?
She tried running away by what? Going to college for a few months,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
where everyone knows she's gone to college. How is that trying to run away? Also, I also like just all of their endeavors. Uh, what's her name? Sarah Michelle Gellar. Her I'm gonna go to New York. She goes for like 2 weeks and then comes back and just gives up on everything and starts working in a store.
Yeah, her family store. Mm-hmm.
The idea is she's so traumatized from guilt is that she can't live out her dreams and they're all just kind of stagnant from the guilt of the situation.
And that doesn't
Oh.
even seem like what I know that that's the intention, but it doesn't seem like it. It seems like Julie was the only one actually affected by it. You know what I mean? Like Helen is just kind of giving, I tried and it didn't work out. And like Barry is still on his same fuckboy shit. He literally doesn't give a shit about anything. And Ray's like, I'm a fish man.
Yeah. I think that's part of the juxtaposition because Julie was the only one with something actually to lose. She was smart enough to go to college and hack it, but she wanted them, you know, to tell somebody, to call the cops or whatever. And the rest of them were kind of losers at heart, you know? I mean, Helen was never going to make it. Ray was broke. Barry was, you know, unmanageable and wild. So I think that's kind of the point. The three who had nothing going for them, you know, were cowards. They wanted to leave it. And Julie, with a real chance at ruining her future, wanted to turn them in. So, I mean, of course, I don't think the contrast between their lives is big enough, but.
No, I don't think so. And also, I like to put, I think this entire podcast is me putting myself in whoever's shoes in the movie. There's nothing on this earth that would have stopped me. The moment Barry choked my shit out and my boyfriend didn't do anything about it. All right. And then as soon as I'm away from them, I'm going to fucking police. Put me in jail if you want to, but that motherfucker choked me and he's going to jail.
He choked her inches from her boyfriend.
And it was just like, stop.
He didn't even ask her if she was okay. He was like, it's gonna be, you're good. It's gonna be fine. Like,
you're going to jail too, bitch. Fuck you and your vote. You know, I couldn't get over it. Watching it this time, I'm just like he's really throttling her. Oh, her boyfriend really ain't shit, which makes the end of this crazy. But they're doing like investigative work and Barry like threatens Leonard. I don't know what his name is in this movie, but like he, you know, with a hook, and then there's slickers everywhere pointing at, you know, this person, that person. There's also this mysterious suicide from David Egan that happened in their town, and they go to his sister Missy's, and wouldn't you know that Ray also went and under a fake name, the name of his boat. But here's my thing about that. It's wild. I don't understand why she's so suspicious of him going there because she went there. She went there too, you know. He did the exact same shit that she did just earlier because he stayed, you know. And if she had stayed, she probably would have gone over there sooner, you know. I don't know. I don't know. Just saying.
Pretty much stopped their like forensic evidence at man. You know, they just was like, it was you, it was you, it was you, like any man who like came into the picture because I mean, you saw the guy's arm. Like, you know, it wasn't, you know, Ray, who at least was the guy that they, you know, almost murdered. So they kept saying, well, what about a tattoo? You know, looking for people who knew a person with a tattoo instead of looking for a person with a tattoo. it was very weird.
They're not very smart. I did think it was fun what they did with Missy Egan's character, making her seem very like the hills have eyes, living out in the backwoods, and she comes out covered in blood with a knife. Like, that's funny. Like, what are you
Oh,
doing?
we would get along. She was cutting up some catfish. She was doing it wrong, but you know what? Yeah, the
I would.
first did.
My favorite scene, I guess. My favorite scene in this movie. I don't really have much to talk about for the plot because you find out who it is, and he's still not dead at the end of the movie. So like, what are we doing here? That's what happens when you try to do the detective work yourself. You DIY that shit. This is what happens, and then I still know what you did last time. Right? So, my favorite scene. Helen's all proud. I mean, I think it's hilarious that he just cuts her hair because he's just fucking with them when he could just kill them. And I think it's funny. That's rude, but she has to cut her hair before she has to ride on the parade float, and she's like all proud and happy because she's got Barry looking out for her. Like, Barry's not gonna do shit. And her chasing and then like ultimately her murder, I think is my favorite scene in this movie because it's so extended. Hers is like the most extended. She sees Barry get cut up and like good riddance because nobody likes Barry, respectfully. And then she almost makes it out. She's like this fucking close. And then you're always like, don't stop and look around. But at the same time, she's not a cross country runner. She's probably tired. Then you got her.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it was just like the whole kind of torture porn element of American media. That's like, do the majority of people want to watch some guy get murdered or a hot chick get brutally, slowly killed? Because also everybody else got hooked immediately. He like beat her up first. He was like beating her up in those tires,
Yeah, like roll around.
Yeah, and I'm like, why are you punching this chick? Everybody else just got hooked. So I think that just is a sad fact about our culture in terms of what's popular in media, violence against women. There we go. Let's not beat around the bush.
Do you know my favorite scene?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think it's hilarious that he's like this freaking little attack dog and he thinks he's so tough, but he goes down so easy. But what's really funny to me is when he's like riding on the float with her and they see there's all these people, they live in a fishing town. There's all these people that fit the MO. And he starts chasing a guy and then he ends up old man fight clubbing out on the fucking dock. And he just drops this elderly guy. And I'm just laughing my ass off.
Old Man Fight Club.
Old Man Fight Club.
Grabbing anybody, really. I'm like, how many people are you going to threaten without getting an assault charge?
Right.
Well, and that's my point. Like, that definitely brings me back to my point. Okay, he's literally out here shaking everybody down without fear of repercussions. So why the fuck didn't you call the police, my guy?
Right.
What are you doing out here? Hello? Doesn't make any sense.
And like based on her interaction with the police officer when he gets murked, like obviously the police are fucking stupid, so it doesn't matter. Like if I think you could do some like Ricky from Trailer Park Boys level maneuvers to get out away from those police. Like they would not know what was going on
at all. Wonder if it's a small town, especially when your daddy's rich. I don't know. It just
like worst case Ontario, daddy pays him off.
That's what happens when you DIY this detective shit.
Right. So this was just set in North Carolina, right?
Yeah, that's the other thing. That's why I thought that, yeah, it's set in North Carolina. That's why I thought giving up on your shit to like when you want to be in New York is so absurd because you're really not that far. Like it's 3 hours to a fucking Trader Joe's where I live. Okay, it's 3 fucking hours for me to get to Trader Joe's, and you're in North Carolina bitching about like not being able to make acting work in 2 months in New York. Really?
Giving
Really?
lazy.
Exactly. Sorry.
Oh,
There was a rant in me. I had to find it.
yeah, now get it out there, sister. I just it's just a little bit ridiculous. And they're all kind of like presumptuous and overzealous. That may not be the word I'm thinking of, but like just the fact that Julie went back to Missy's house after they got caught lying to her, and like reopening a grief wound for their own personal vendettas, that she went back there and was like, your brother's dead. It was just suicide. This is a death note. Bitch.
Yeah, that whole interaction was baffling. Like, is that really how people act? Like, ever?
In this town. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Also physically hurt me to watch her when she's like running through the boat away from this man at the end and she's like crawling through the ice cubes. I hate it. Ouch.
I will give them. I feel like the whole movie had a real tight adherence to a certain aesthetic that was pretty dope. I liked it. It was given like 90s seaside grunge. The whole aesthetic, even the gym was like a boardwalk, seaside wooden, place. I'm like, man, that's okay. We've been to North Carolina. I don't know that that's the exact setup, but just like the adherence to that aesthetic, I liked.
Mm.
It all looked like there was some dust on the whole thing. Like you could just touch anything and get some dust. Yeah.
Yeah, the movie was pretty ashy. I'll give you that.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
It needs some lotion. But I can't lie. Like I thought the scene where he's fucking with Barry, he doesn't kill him, but he could have. That was very satisfying to me because yeah, like stuck him up a little bit. But then again, when he's inside and his jacket goes missing, I literally can only think of Scary Movie in the teeny weeny picture. I can't take it seriously at all. But that's not this movie's fault.
Mm-mm.
That's America's fault.
This movie has plenty of its own faults. I will say that the one thing I did kind of like was the soundtrack, like the goth version of Summer Breeze in the beginning, and then Lead Belly's Where Did You Sleep Last Night playing when they go out to the Egan house. That was it was a mood. It was a vibe.
It was a movie. Yeah. I
Oh,
agree.
cool. I like it. I don't have anything else to say about this movie.
It's pretty straightforward,
Mm-hmm.
I think the pleasurable part of it is really visual. The people you're looking at, the stuff you're looking at. I think it's kind of sound, pleasant. Like Elle was saying, the soundtrack was good. The screams were great.
Mm-hmm.
Tons of great.
The story,
Eh.
sorry, I'm not a fan.
Yeah, and I kind of hate first movies where it's so obvious they're putting in, places to make a dozen watered down versions. Somebody goes overboard, that's a guaranteed. Maybe they're dead, maybe they're not, pop up later, cliffhanger kind of thing. And 2 people went overboard in the movie. So I just feel like there were too many spots. It's like, is it him? Is it him? Is it him? Like, it's not really a mystery thriller if it's random.
Right. That's what I like about Scream. Because, there were 2 killers at the end. It was pretty cut and dry, buttoned up. What would they do with a Scream 2? But this is pretty, you know what I mean.
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't remember the second movie, and we're not going to cover it. So,
What you did last summer. What I like about that one is Brandy's in it.
Brandy is.
So,
I mean,
but you know what happens because Brandy's in it and Brandy's black. So,
yeah. Bummer. So then we're definitely not gonna cover it. But
Yeah,
Mm.
it was watered down.
meh.
Meh.
Mm.
It still stands in the trifecta, but it's definitely not the strongest. And I feel like when we watch Urban Legend, because I literally haven't seen that one since I was a teenager, it, we may have some things to say about that one that are
Mhm.
it may not be as great, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts?
I'll give it 2 chuds.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to also give it 2 chuds. Ooh. No, you know what? That half, 2.5. You know why? The half
Okay.
is Freddie Prinze Jr. and Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yes. But
Yeah.
it's the lower half of the chud.
Yeah. I would say I'm in the around 3 boat, but just for nostalgia and aesthetic, I'm with it.
Mhm.
The nostalgia factor is pretty pungent.
Yeah, some of those fits too. I was like, okay, the one where Ryan Phillippe had on the fitted Dito jeans and the white t-shirt and the tan flannel. I was like, you could do that today and it would look pretty hot. So, you
Yeah,
know,
I thought Helen's after they cut her hair and she had like the little crop top and her hair up and the newsboy cap. Oh, stop it. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
seriously. I thought some of the fits were, we're back in that era. We're neutro 90s now. So,
Hell yeah.
Mhm.
Hell yeah. Okay. Well, that was fun. You can find this podcast on the interwebs at ghostinthemagazine.site. You can find it on Twitter, while Twitter's still alive, at GITM Podcast. You can find me on Twitter at WitchXPudding.
And you can find me at Nocturnical.
and you can find me at Hedda_Mel.
Okay, bye.